Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new map called American Falls by Boy. Here we're on the map PDA in the mod hub and we're going to be checking out what it says. It says, "Welcome to American Falls. You have a big job to do on this map. The previous owner here once had a farm in Illinois called Stone Valley. He came here looking for work and American Falls needed a farmer. So he was given a chance and did a fantastic job running the area. The local residents helped him out where they could, and the businesses loved working with him. Then all of a sudden, he was gone. He had sold all of the equipment that once belonged to the American Falls community and all of the land along with it. Luckily, he didn't sell the trailer where he once lived. The American Falls community has been informed that you took over Stone Valley as well, managing to get that farm up and running in tip-top shape. And your help is needed again. The reason you have been brought here is because American Falls needs a great farmer like you. Unfortunately, there is little money in the pot. Just enough to get you going. There's no equipment to spare, so you'll have to do local contracts to slowly regain the trust of the community. Use your earnings to buy new farming equipment and eventually buy the land back. Are you up for the challenge? Can you regain the trust of American Falls?" On a final note, I want to say thank you to my true followers who supported me over the years and stood by me, but this will be my final map for FS22. No more mods and maps will be made by myself. And that's Boy, so unfortunately, yep, this is going to be apparently his last map, and he won't make any more mods for FS22. A couple little pieces of information. It says, all fields are fictional, don't sell animal farms, start up the shop gates won't open till 9 a.m., but will open and close as normal after 8 a.m. and close at 4 p.m. The mud system, which is optional, is PC only. There's field floods, riverbank floods, working road cat's eyes. Now stay on your side of the road. I don't know what that means. Four new custom crops: alfalfa, rye, flax, and clover. Very cool. We're going to be taking a look at those. 4D modding. So it looks like they've got some custom slurry textures by Erie Agri Modding. There's a new well-made corn, maize crops by Benji. Soybeans are in rows, start from scratch and farm manager have been added. Cows can produce manure, pigs can produce manure. 12 custom farm placeables added. There's 8 selling points, 1 bale selling point, 1 log selling point. There is an alfalfa silage clamp added. Oxygen David's custom lighting has been implemented. Paintable field added. Brand new design models by Boy. All AI helper added. There's 50 fields, 4 forestry areas, 2 productions added. Seasons, visuals, collectibles, and all land purchased before using animals and farm areas. So you have to purchase the land before you use it, I think is what that's trying to say. Not the best grammar, but I think I got what's going on here. So it looks like it's definitely going to be an American map by the name American Falls. From the looks of the fields, they're not... This is taking Stone Valley to another level. If you remember Stone Valley, there were pretty square fields that did have some different shapes in them, but they also had these little grassways in them, cutting up the fields and sort of making it look pretty interesting. And so this looks like taking it to the next level. There are far less square fields, so the fields are irregular shapes. They're rounded, they're angled, and they also have these grassways in them, which are called waterways, I believe, where the water runs down into the grass. And since the grass has a good, strong root system, it doesn't wash out like the crop would if it was there. Got a couple more screenshots. Ooh, that's a cool looking building. I wonder if that's one of their custom productions. Anyways, let's hop in the map and we'll check out what you have on your starting farm. Here is where you start out in new farmer mode. Looks like we got a house here. There's all the fields. And let's have a look. So it looks like flax is this purplish color here on 44, 35, and 50. So very similar to Edgewater, Saskatchewan. Doesn't look like there's any rye on the map, but it's a little golden yellow, similar to wheat. Alfalfa is a very bright green, and clover is a dark green. So soybeans here on 25. Clover is darker than that green, and alfalfa is lighter than that green. So it's very interesting. Okay, and let's check out what kind of productions we've got. There's a sawmill, a small fermenting silo up in the top left corner of the map, very close to where we start out with a pickup and our house. There's a spinnery. We've also got another small fermenting silo up here, Another small fermenting silo there. Some seed production. Okay, so that's one of the custom productions for the map. We've got a carpentry, a dairy, and that looks like that's everything. There's a couple of places for you to get some water, it looks like. Alright. So what we start out with here is just a pickup with 0.2 hours on it. And there's nothing leased, so this is literally all you've got. Is this pickup here. Let's have a look and see if we have any land. We do start out with $100,000. Oops, I went the wrong way. Alright, farmland. We do own a few places. Can we sell them? 0 value. So yeah, we own some stuff, but the value is 0. Let's see what we can buy. Here's where we started out, is right here. What kind of prices do we have? So field 33 you could buy with $38,000. You could buy some very, very small equipment. And you could start out farming. Now, what the map maker wanted you to do is to do some local contracts to build up some trust with the community, and then be able to afford your own land and stuff. So that is definitely what you can do. For the purposes of this first look, I'm not going to be doing that. That is a pretty cool idea, though. I'm just going to drive around the map and have a look at it, and what I can tell right now is it looks really good. This is a very good looking map. There is some custom lighting from Oxygen David, which is, yeah, he's very talented at making maps. So similar to a Court Farms lighting. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The decoration's good. The roads are nice and wide. The traffic's good. It doesn't slow down when you drive by on the other side. Here's a collectible here. Let's see how much it pays. $1,000. Okay, so that's pretty typical. But yeah, it might not come across very well on camera, but the feel of this map, similar to Court Farms, it's hard to describe. It just feels good. The way it looks, there's nothing incredibly crazy going on. It's not super intricately detailed, but it just looks like a really good map. The way that the lighting blends together, the decoration's good, the fences look good, the buildings are good. I just started it up and I was impressed by how it looks. Ooh, we've got some greenhouses here. Are these able to be purchased? Let's see where I am. $25. Looks like you can buy the greenhouses, so that would be a good thing to start out with. Buy yourself the town's greenhouses and work them. All you need is a water tanker and a tractor. Fill up your water tanker in the river over there and fill up the greenhouses. Get you a flat deck and a little forklift and you can sell it. Ooh, what is this? Sugarcane. Interesting. I haven't seen that very much in FS22 apparently. I thought it was one of the new crop types for this map. But yeah, it's a good looking map. Wow, look at the background. Got a mountain range there. That's pretty sweet. Pickup's a little hard to control, sorry about that. Alright. So we've ascertained that the map looks good. This I really like this water feature here. Very cool. Got some moss or algae or whatever growing through a little culvert here. A nice water feature. Some pipes going through. Yeah, it just looks good. There's no collisions on that apparently. I jumped over it for no reason. A little bit of some weird stuff going on with the lighting, shaders or whatever, but that's okay. A nice little boat here. Yeah, looking good. Let's hop in the pickup. And I am going to use some mods to get the fields going. I don't have any visual mods. The only mods I have installed are the ones that go with the map, which is the American fermenting silos, obviously the map itself, and the pickup header pack. So I don't know if swathing is like able to be done on this map or not. That's cool if it is, but I'm not sure. Let's just pull into here. Nice little house. A cool little place set there, that's cool. Yeah, so the details, again, there's nothing like crazy impressive going on with the details, but what they are using looks good. It creates a nice atmosphere for the map, I guess, so definitely a good looking map. Let's have us a look and see what kind of textures we're working with for the crops. I'm gonna come down here and check out the soybean field because the map PDA said something about soybeans being in rows. There we go. That looks good. Same with the Big Flats, Texas, which looked good. Soybeans, at least around here where I'm from, they're planted in rows with planters, not with seeders. But the game's texture has them all clumped up like really tightly within each other. This looks a lot better, more realistic to where I live, which is Midwest America. So that's where this map is set. It looks good. So yeah, that's a very good texture. Of course, you still harvest it with the same header. It still gives you the same amount of yield. It just looks a little different, which I am all for. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to set up the field with the custom crops, and we're going to have a look at what those look like. So hang tight. So as I'm getting this harvester set up to harvest the fields and see what they look like, one thing I'm noticing that I do not like with any map is how tight this shop space is. There is like no room at all to maneuver in here, and it's making it extremely difficult to get this header out. And it's a very tight turn out of the shop space, so yeah, that's a big red flag for me with maps. I want it to be easy to maneuver around in the shop area and to get out, but as you can see, like, we're fenced in on both sides and there's this guardrail with the highway, so it's doable with this header and this harvester. But if you want any big air seeders, good luck, because those aren't getting out. Those are not getting out of that shop. Like the big Borgalt air seeders, the Otzenbickler Terminator, the Seed Hawks, any of those, they're getting stuck. It's going to be very difficult for you to get out of there. So you're going to need to get like a VIP delivery, store delivery mod or something in order to do that. But anyways, here is what flax looks like before it's been harvested, which is very similar, if not identical, to Edgewater, Saskatchewan. Let's go ahead and drop some straw swath here and see what flax looks like after it's been harvested. Oops. I thought I did pull up the tool. Okay. Nope. Come on now. I don't know what was up with that. Some weird collision there. Alright, very good. So it does have the brown straw from Edgewater, Saskatchewan. That's a pretty good looking texture after it's been cut, actually. Let's switch it to straw spreading, widespread or whatever. Yeah, not a bad texture. I'm liking that flax. That's looking good. It's got the nice stubble on the ground. Of course, the flax straw there. And I want to see if that is a different thing. I know in Edgewater, Saskatchewan, straw is different from flax straw. So flax straw drops its own type of straw. Let's go ahead and see. Yep, there we go. So flax straw is separate from flax. As you can see, flax sells for $3,346, or roughly thereabouts, at its highest price. Flax straw sells for $116. Okay, so there's some compost in the map. Again, I have no mods installed except for the ones that came with the map and easy dev controls in order for me to edit in which crops are in the field so I can harvest them quickly for you. Soybean straw. Okay, that's cool. So soybeans drops its own straw as well. Clover windrow, clover hay windrow. So you can cut clovers. It's sort of like grass. Then you can turn them into hay, and that pays a little better. And then it looks like rye is just sold straight up. And then there's alfalfa and alfalfa hay, as well as alfalfa fermented. So very good to know. Let's go ahead and switch this out for rye and see what that texture looks like. Just harvested the rye, and that's what the straw looks like, the stubble. Here's what it looks like unharvested. And that looks so similar to barley. I don't know if it is identical. I'm gonna put in a picture of barley as well, just so we can see the difference. But yeah, very typical grain, cereal grain looking crop. Very similar to wheat, oats, barley, of course. Yeah, very, very similar in looking. But yeah, I'm going to check that out and see if barley is the same. So here is rye, and here is barley. So I do think that is the exact same texture, which is very disappointing. I'm not sure if they look identical in real life. I don't think they do. There is a slight difference between barley, wheat, oats, and rye, and millet, and sorghum, and all those cereal grains. So yeah, that is disappointing for sure. But it's been par for the course. Anytime there's rye in the game, it's usually pretty close to barley's texture. So that is unfortunate. But anyways, I'm going to load in clover and then alfalfa, and we'll see what those look like before they're harvested and after they're harvested. Here's what clover looks like before it's ready to harvest. You can see it's a nice tall green crop with some purplish reddish tops, and then once it's been harvested, it's got a nice deep green look to it. And then the stubble is pretty cool too, but I like the way it looks when it's getting mowed, so we'll hop into the McCormick and do that. It just sort of lays down in front of it, gets pushed over by the mower obviously, and then he gets cut. So yeah, that's a pretty good animation, pretty good crop texture. I like it. We'll move on to alfalfa now and see how that looks. Here's alfalfa again, a nice tall green looking crop with some little tiny purple heads. And when it's harvested, the stubble gets a lot shorter and smaller than clover. And as you can see, this is the clover crop texture, and this is the alfalfa. So it's a different look. This one looks more like grass after it's been cut, whereas this is a deep green, and you can see little clover petals in the crop type. Again, when it's being harvested, the animation is solid, just like the clover is. It just bends over pretty good and gets cut. It's not a perfect animation, but it's better than nothing. This is a custom crop. These aren't in the base game of Farming Simulator. They're not in any DLCs. They are only in because they've been modded in. So that's pretty cool. Definitely like that. So all the crop types, the new crop types, I would say are wins. The texture for soybeans, I like it. It's more realistic for sure, especially to the area I'm familiar with and I live in. So yeah, I would say this map is a very good one. I'm not sure how I feel about the story starting with no equipment except a truck and no land that you can have, and it tells you have to start off, gaining the favor of the townspeople essentially by doing contracts for them, and they'll pay you a little bit so that eventually, after you've worked for them enough, you can afford to get your own land and your own tools to start farming here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's very easy to get around. All you have to do is just, instead of loading up new farmer mode, you just load up farm manager mode. You start with $1.5 million instead of $100,000, and you start in farm manager mode. You don't have your house that you start with, and you don't have your pickup truck, but that's it. You have $1.5 million to spend on land and equipment and a house and all that jazz. So, excuse me, had a voice crack there. All that jazz. So that's definitely the way I would play the map, is doing farm manager mode, getting some nice equipment to start out farming with these beautiful crop types. But yeah, some people really like the story mode, so that's absolutely not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, this map, that's the thing. It's very, very diverse. You can do whatever you want on this map. They've added clover and alfalfa. Those are two grass type crops. that you can make different types of hay and silage and that stuff with it. So that's really cool. They've added rye and, oh, what was the other one? Rye and flax. They've added rye and flax so that your grain farmers can have a little bit of extra stuff to deal with. So that's, yeah, I really love it when maps add extra crop types, especially when they're well done. I'm not too certain about that rye texture, but it's okay. It's a new crop type. It sells differently. It yields differently than barley, so it's a different crop type. It's just not a super different texture, which isn't, yeah, I don't necessarily like that one. The only gripes I have with this map for sure are the shop area. Like, if I were to rent some big old, like, let's just do cotton harvesters. Oh, wait, no, those are way too expensive. Let's rent the slurry tanks is usually what I do. Get a big slurry tank and just rent it over and over again. If I just lease a few of these, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I'm out of money. Like, yeah, I can fit a solid amount of machinery, but the space in between what spawned in and the front for you to like back a tractor up to this hitch, there's not much room at all. Like, it is extremely tight, especially when you're doing like, this is like a medium-sized slurry tanker. This is the integral, what's it called? The Venus Premium Integral 20,000, which means it holds 20,000 liters. They have a 30,000. There's even bigger ones that holds 36 or 34.5 thousand meters. Like, they have some big slurry tankers. These are just medium ones, and there's still not much room to get a tractor back up in there. If you have a big one, you're going to have to smash into it with your tractor to move it out of the way so you can hook it up. When you're doing the big modded air seeders and big planters, there's not much room to get these things in and out. So that's some things where I definitely see issues arising. I really like it when maps have good stores, and this one doesn't have a good store. So that's the only complaint I have with it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope I've given you guys some solid information about the map and the different crop types and textures and all that. I would strongly recommend this map. I'll definitely be playing on it a little bit. So if you did enjoy it, please feel free to leave a like so that other people can see this and get some information and enjoy it as well. If you like the content I put out and you want to see more of it, then please consider hitting the subscribe button and ringing that bell so that you can be notified whenever I put out new videos and be able to watch them right away. It really helps out my channel. It's free for you to do, and you can undo it at any time if you so choose. Anyways, guys, that's all for me for now. We'll see you next time. Peace.